Hello everyone. So I'm recording this video to give a overview for the demonstration with regards to the lab topic, which is the cross-account access with using the AWS role. That is basically the delegation with regards to the cross-account access with the help of the AWS role. So to get an overview of what exactly I'm trying to highlight about what is cross-account access, let me show you a scenario. Assume that right now we have the development account and the number series is one of my account that I hold, which is the development account, where I will be creating a user called Alex as part of the development account. He would be having the administrator access, which is nothing but called the trusted account. On the other side, I'll be having something called my production account, that is nothing but another account ID, which is called the prod. On the other side, what I want Alex to log in from the development account by using the concept of switch role, so that Alex can assume a role in the production, which is read-only access to the EC2 instances. So in order to achieve that, we can easily identify that there are two different accounts, dev and production account that I have to have. That is basically two different account IDs, two different accounts that I need to have. And there should be a bridge that should be established between the development and production account. So I call it as the trusted account where I'll be logging in with, and the other side I'll be having the trusting account where I'll assume the role. So in order to get things done, we need to follow the following steps. First, we'll create an Alex, the IAM user, in the development account, so called the trusted account. Right after that, I'll be creating a role inside the production account because that is a role that I need to assume, which I'll be calling it as my cross account role. And the policy that I'll allow him is that it should be only allowing me to read the EC2 instances in the production account. Right after that, I'll move back to my trusted account, which is in case that is our development account. I'll create a policy, which I'll be calling it as cross account policy with the service STS, that is the security token service. The reason why I have to use STS is that all the API calls between the development production will be happening with regards to the security token service. So I'll allow the service STS to assume the role for the role that I've created, which is nothing but my cross account role, so that the cross account role will become the trusted entity in my case. And once it is done, I'll allow the policy, that is cross account policy that I've created, to this newly created user Alex. And once this is done, then I'll verify the switch role. So guys, in order to get a clear picture, let's get started and let's me show you how things can be done. Okay, to get things done in a smoother way, one side I have an account which is called the AWS Dev Account. You can see right now it is one account. So how is that you will identify the account? So right now the account that I have is the development account, which is nothing but you can identify with the number series 9. So 9 series is my development account. In another browser, I am running my production account, which you can identify with number series starting with 7. So if you see a number series 7, assume that is your production account. So guys, I have two accounts that are with 7.4 and the other one is at 9.3. So one account that I'm running is in my Firefox, which is my dev account 9.3 series, and the other account that I have is my production account, which is at 7.4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a switch role to the Alex user who is going to be getting created inside this account, inside my development account. So I'm going to create a user Alex and allow Alex to assume a role so that he can switch his role so that he can get access to the production account. And in production, he can only see the EC2 instances. He can only read that EC2 instances. So in order to get things started, guys, let me just first use IAM to create an IAM user as part of the step 1. So step 1 is to create Alex in our group. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to users and say add user. Who is that user? Alex is a user. Okay, and then say that I'm going to give him programmatic and console access, and I'm going to allow him to change his password. And right after that, I'll just allow him with next permissions. I'll have just next review and create a user. So I've created just Alex, a user, and I haven't assigned any permissions to him. So Alex is now a user who got created here. Right now you can see to this user Alex, there are no permissions that are attached except the permissions which allow him to change his policy during the first login. Okay, so I have created the user. So right after the user, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back into my production account. That is my 7 series, which is the production account. And what I'm going to do is from the production account, I'm going to create a role. So for that to happen, first thing is switch to IAM. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a role. So my role, and then create a role, because this is the role that should be given to my development resources like Alex or a role, so that Alex can assume this role. So I have to create that role. So I'll go and say that I want to create a role for this account ID. So what is the account ID? So the account ID of the production account, the development account. So go and pick the development account. So my account, the account ID for this number. So this is the account ID for which I'm gonna allow the role to come in. So I'll say that I'm gonna allow to this account ID, okay, all the resources. So here I'm gonna say create a policy here. So I'm just gonna say that I want to allow read only. So which read only that I want to do? I want to do EC2 read. So EC2 read only. And next view, and what is the role? So it is my cross account role, the name of the role that I'm creating. As part of this role, I'll be allowing resources to just read only EC2 instances, because this is a production account. I want resources from the development account, coming from the development account, should only be able to read this account. Okay, now since I have created my role, the next step is to allow the users or the roles that are coming from my development account to assume this role. So for that to happen, what is that I need to do is I need to switch back into my production account. Okay, now I have to create a policy. So create policy. So click create policy, and I'll say choose a service. So here we are using security token service. So just type in STS. You're able to see STS, and I want to perform all the actions. So which is that resource can assume this role? So click ARN for this role. So we need to specify which is that user that gonna access this role. So for that, what we need to do is we need to pull this role that should be assumed by my development the users or the roles, whoever has picked the roles, and then add the role and review the policy. So the name of the policy is cross role hyphen policy, the name of the policy that I'm creating, and create a policy. So the policy has been created. So what I'll do is once the policy is created, I go back to the user and I'll assign this policy to the Alex. So add the permissions, so which is a policy that I should be adding. Attach the policy. Since we have created a custom policy, click on the custom policy. So I have the custom policy. Now I have the cross role policy. Next, review it and add permissions. So the policy to Alex has been assigned. So first thing what I'll do is I'll first log out from this, and now I'll try to log in as Alex and try to verify whether my switch role shall work. So for that to happen, let me sign into the management console, and I have to provide the credentials. So sign into the different account. Just let me get the account ID first. Sorry guys, so let me just get the first account ID. The account ID is something like this. So let me copy the account ID copy the account ID and let me highlight that. Okay, account ID. Next, so I'm trying to log in as an access. Sorry, LX. So it's LX 123. I'm gonna enter my password. Sign in to the LX. So let me just double check it and let me do a password login. So I'm now logged into LX, the old password and the new password that I'm changing, and confirm the change password for LX. So once the LX logins, he should be given an option to change his password, which we have done successfully, and we have an option to go for the switch role, right? And once the switch role is done, so what is the account that we have? The account number is this. Sorry, the account number is to which account that is nothing but your production account. This is my production account, and the role that I want to assume is my cross account role. So if this role is available, then I'll be able to make the changes accordingly. There you go, guys. Now you can see I'm able to assume a role, which is my cross account role, into this account. And if I want to see any other service like S3, if I want to see S3, I should be getting a denial. See, I'm getting an error denied. Now I want to see something apart from this role. I want to see the role of, let's say, IAM. I want to see IAM policies in the production account. I should be getting no permissions. I don't have permissions to look at. Now I want to look into any other thing. Now I want to see what I can I see something on the EC2 part? Yes, of course. The reason why I can see the EC2 instances in my production account, I'm allowed to log in. Right now I do not have any running instances, but if I have any instances, I should have been able to see this. So if you want to even double verify, go and check any other RDS if you want to verify, because this policy of cross account role is assumed with a policy. That policy is only allowing me to read only access. So I want to see the database instances. It should throw me an error, access denied, because I'm unable to run that. So I hope, guys, the concept of the cross account access role is very clear. For once again the reviewing, I just want to say that what we had is we had a development account. This was the account ID for the development, where Alex was playing the role of administrator, so called the trusted account. On the other side, we had the production account, where Alex had to assume a role, which we had to get it done with the help of switch role, and that role had a policy to just only read only access to EC2 instances. So what we have done in the development account, we have created a policy. That policy has assumed the role in the production account, so which we were able to get the help of we were able to get it done with the help of STS. So STS has allowed us to assume a role which was created in production account, that is my production account role, and the policy that we have created in development was cross account policy. So cross account policy was attached to LX, and LX has assumed a role which was created in production, my cross account role. So with that, we were able to achieve the cross account from one account to another account. I hope, guys, the steps are very clear. So I'll just run again once again what I've done. Created an IAM user in the trusted account, created a role in production which we had only access to EC2, then created in my development account a new policy that would allow me to assume the role for that newly created, which was my cross account, with the help of the new service called STS. Then I have created a role, that is by adding the role to the by adding the ARN number of this role into my policy when I'm creating, and assign that policy which we have created in the development account to Alex, and finally verifying with the help of switch role. That's all, guys. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, and I'm turning the call for now.